Good evening, everyone. Gloria messed up. She fed me first, so I'm tired. I'm Derek Champion. I am the Deputy Director at the Department of Commerce and Economic Opportunity. I am responsible for the Office of Minority Economic Empowerment. So my job is really simple. It's to kind of get resources out to individuals, but more importantly, try to create and retain jobs and introduce individuals that need access to capital as well. One of the individuals I want to introduce as well is Irma Lopez. She's here with our Business Enterprise program. Irma and I do a lot of road tripping. She is really amazing because individuals that are not registered to do business with the state, Irma is in charge of that process. And the one thing that I like about that, it gives those individuals that are not registered the opportunity to do business with the state. And because of the fair contracting, or excuse me, the executive order that the governor signed on May 17th, where there is a 25% mandate on agencies to have African-American participation or contracts will be canceled. So that's a big deal. Let me go to the next slide. Nope. Also, I want to just a couple of people that I want to acknowledge. I definitely want to acknowledge Tasha Brown, who is with the Women's Business Development Center as well. But the person that is really responsible for this evening's event is Gloria Tucker Kinney. She has been really a great resource for us, a great partner, and we want to thank the Kankakee Chamber of Commerce for being a part of this, and Corey Walker and Frank Bass. We are forever grateful. But I want to bring Gloria up here to say a few words and to welcome you all as well, and then I'll come back and just talk about a few things that's going on at state. But let's give Gloria a round of applause because she fed us, so I gotta give her a standing O. Thank you.
All right, good afternoon, everyone. Thanks for coming. I hope you had enough to eat, and if you didn't, there's plenty more back there. But before I get started, I want to introduce our chairman for the Greater Kankakee Black Chamber, and that's Mr. Ricky Tucker. Raise your hand. Yep, definitely cousins. I want to thank everyone who drove all the way here to Kankakee to be a part of this. It's huge for you all to take the time out to come to Kankakee to help share your knowledge. So just know that we do appreciate you taking the time. I want to thank everyone who did come out to get the information, because that's the purpose of it, to get the information. And once you get this information, I challenge you to share it with someone else. And then make sure we have your information so when we do this again, as we pass the information along, it's going to make everything much easier. When you go to the banks, if you have your paperwork in order, it's so much easier for the process to get the monies that we need to get to do the business that we need to do. So, and it's not as frustrating once you have everything in order. So you need to know the lingo and all of that good stuff. That's the purpose of these workshops. So we want to keep them coming. We want to hear your feedback also. So don't be shy about telling us what you liked, what you didn't like, and what you'd like to see more of. So thanks again for coming out.
Hey, thanks again, Gloria. Appreciate it. We really recognize those individuals that really display leadership, and you guys do a great job in this area. One of the things I want to talk about just very briefly before we bring Tasha up, I want to talk about something that's going on in my office. The governor made an announcement on June 19th in Chicago. Once our budget was passed, there was legislation in there for a capital grant. That capital grant is going to be coming out of my office, which is the Office of Minority Economic Empowerment. But I just want to make sure that this area knows about GATA. GATA is the requirements that you guys are going to have to get pre-registered on this particular portal if you want to apply for any kind of capital grants or grants in the state. It's not like it used to be. So there's some integrity that's in this process now, and GATA helps everybody stay honest. And one of the things that I like about this process it really makes the playing field even. So we want to make sure that people know about GATA. A couple things that's coming down the pipeline. We will be hosting 3 full-day workshops, one in the Chicagoland area, one in Central Illinois, and one in Southern Illinois. The notice of funding opportunity is probably about 3 weeks away, ballpark, give or take a week. But this capital grant is going to be used for for building projects. So renovations, expansion, water, sewage, plumbing. So anything that's related to building, and that includes equipment as well. So I just want to make sure that individuals know about what's coming down the pipeline and the GATA requirements. And you can just do a Google search on GATA Illinois, and it would map you directly to the state's web portal. On the bottom of that screen, you're going to see GATA, G-A-T-A, Illinois, and it would map you to our web portal. This is something that's coming down the pipeline. I want to make sure people are familiarized with GATA, because this accountability piece is going to really be required in order for you to receive any kind of funding. So just kind of stay tuned, check our website. We'll be sending out communications through the chambers as well, so the individuals will know about that. Right now, I want to bring up Tasha Brown. She is with the Women's Business Development Center. They have a great team over there, and they're always part of our workshops as well. So we want to give Tasha a great round of applause, because we truly value those individuals over there. So thank you for taking part.
My task for this evening is to talk to you all about business planning. But before I do that, I want to just poll the room. How many of you all are business owners, by a show of hands? Can I see hands of the business owners? Great. How many of you all have been in business for less than 1 year? Anybody? Okay. 2 to 3 years? Okay, great. 3 to 5? Over 5 years, the remainder? Okay, wonderful. Well, someone might wonder, well, if I'm in business for more than 5 years, why are you going to talk to us about business planning? Well, how many of you all intend to scale your business? You want to grow your business. You want to move from one level to the next. Anybody in the room? Yes? Okay, great. Even when you are preparing to scale your business, it's important to plan how you will scale your business. So I want to look at a few things real quick regarding the business planning process. I don't want you all to answer this, but I will share with you that I have spoken to countless clients with my work with Small Business Development Center, and I've talked to people who are looking to start a business and those who are in business. And something that is consistent among both groups is that folks have not completed a business plan. There are people who have been in business for years and still have not developed a business plan. So why do you want to have a business plan? Well, a business plan is a written document, and it's a description of how your business will operate. It's a description of your business's future, describing what you plan to do and how you plan to do it. We share with individuals that when you are preparing your business plan, you need to look at quite a few things. One being research around whether or not your product, your service is feasible. And you can get that information from our Small Business Development Office. We have access to what's called IBIS World, where we're able to look at different industries throughout the United States and even abroad, and give you information on whether or not your industry is thriving, is it mature, is it in the beginning stages, where is it in terms of its growth. That information is helpful because not only do we give you the IBIS World iExpert report, it also gives you information about how many people access your product, the suppliers that are connected to it. It gives you just a wealth of information that you can use when it comes to planning your business. So you want to do the research, and we can help you with that research through IBIS World. You want to research the product, the market, and also the competition. In addition to that, you want to make sure that you have a purpose for your business. Why do you exist? What is the why that you're trying to answer for someone? And so when you look at doing a business plan, you have to ask yourself those questions. Look at your company profile. Look at the people that you are in business with. What is their expertise? What is their skill set? You know, I was talking, Matt, I'm sorry, I saw the M and the A in my head. I was speaking with Matt earlier and other funders, and we talk about how often business owners are excited and passionate about what it is they want to do, but they lack the business acumen to get it done. And it's okay that you are able to bake pies. It is great that Patty Pies has nothing on you, but someone needs to know how to source the material to make the pies and make sure you're having a profit. So if you're not that person, you need to have that person on your team. So creating a company profile that shows everybody who's connected to the business is very important. Selecting someone who can help you get to where you need to go in that business is equally important. So when you look at planning your business, you look at these 7 steps. Research the product, the market, the competition, define the purpose of the business plan, create a company profile, document the aspects of the business, have a strategic marketing plan in place, make it adaptable to the audience who will be reading the plan, and answering the question of what's your why. I want to share with you all a few questions that we invite you to ask when developing your business plan. And a few of those questions are as follows. One is, in terms of business operation, why or what are the existing and or proposed products or services that you want to offer? I do want you to think about that. It might sound fairly simple, but you would be surprised that some people do not know their product. Let me give you an example. I have a marketing client, and we've sat down for several meetings. And I said, I understand that you're able to market. I understand that you know how to help a business have a presence online. But what is it that you're actually servicing, or what is it that you're providing that client? And she looked at me puzzled. She didn't understand the question. And essentially what I was asking her was, what is your value proposition? What value do you bring to the business? Why would they choose you instead of a cousin, a niece, or a nephew who can make a Facebook post? So what is your product? Is it that you walk alongside a business and help them expand and grow? Is it that you help your businesses turn a profit? What is it that you actually offer? And so I want you all to consider, when you're thinking about your business operation and you're thinking about scaling your business, to really hone in on, what is it that I offer? What is it that I provide to a business owner? Why? Or not even a business owner. What do I provide to the market? Why is the market looking for me? That is your unique niche. That is the value proposition. That is what you bring. So when you look at your business operation, think about the products and services, but really be specific about the service that you offer. And if you are an existing business, what is the history of the business? I know we're going to talk about finances on the panel in just a moment, so I don't want to delve too deep into that. But when you're looking at finances, the financial statements that you create for your business, that you put together, really tell a tale about how profitable you are. Looking at balance sheets, income statements, profit and loss statements, which are the same as income statements. When you look at those things, it really gives us and others, investors, funders, an opportunity to see, is your business feasible? Can you make money? So again, with business operation, why will the business be successful? So I want you all to consider that when you come to business planning. In addition to business operation, I spoke a little bit about management, looking at who is actually managing things. If you have someone who is willing, but they are unable, you politely thank them for their service, but move on to someone who can really help you get to where you need to be. Everyone who wants to walk alongside of you may not have the skill set needed to help you be where you need to be. So when you're planning, you have to ask yourself, who's on my team and how can they help me move further? I want to talk about the marketing plan real quick for a moment. When it comes to marketing, I know we've heard a lot about social media, And over the past, I want to say 5 to 10 years, social media has its own rap, so to speak, of being that place that help put people on, being that place that help people achieve this level of success. Social media at one point was that spot, but since then it has changed. The landscape of social media has changed. Let me give you a very basic thing that has happened. Years ago, Facebook had it where you can set up a group or a Facebook page for your business. And you can have people follow you on your page or like your page. And you can make a post and people will see your post on your page. Now you can have 10,000 people on your page who love your business, and whenever you post, you might get responses from 20 or 30 people. Have you seen that before? It's because Facebook is monetizing what they do, and that affects your business. So if you were a person to say, man, I'm going to make it big, social media is out there, please know and understand that you need to factor some money into your budget when it comes to posting, even on Facebook. It's not as organic as it used to be. And again, the reason why is because you can't operate $1 billion industry by giving everything away for free. So Facebook has found a way to grow and evolve. And if you have that as part of your marketing plan, please know and understand you too will have to grow and evolve with the changes. So when you come to a marketing plan, make sure that you have some things in place, but also allow for some contingencies. Don't have social media be your only form of marketing. We have a marketing fan that we share with individuals, and I believe it's 7 different aspects of marketing, from print to online to door-to-door, newspaper, so many different ways to market. So when you are looking at your marketing plan, you want to do an industry analysis. And what that is basically describing your industry to include brief background information. You want to include trends and prospective growth and known factors for success. So not only are you doing an industry analysis, you want to do a market analysis. What are the characteristics of your target market? What is your product or service, and why is it unique? What are the benefits of your customers or to your customers? We use this language avatar, where we encourage people to create an avatar. Have you heard the word avatar before? Even if you saw it for the Airbender movie, we use it to describe this fictional person to whom you are marketing. What does he or she like? What is their age? What are some of their interests? That's your avatar that you've created that you will market after. And again, going to Facebook as an example, Facebook allows you to even drill down to very specific things for your targeted demographic. So please know and understand that although a lot of people might be interested in your product, there's only really a few that will buy your product. You want to know who is your buyer, who is your customer, what is your avatar. So I want to share a few other things real quick. This is still under the heading of marketing plan. Do you know your competition? Who out there knows their competition? Who are you competing with? I'm glad you know your competition. If you don't, please find out. Let me ask you a pop quiz. How about pop quiz? If I am a photographer, tell me who is my competition. Thank you. Could you say it a little bit louder? Cell phones. Any average person could be my competitor. Why? Because the cell phone technology has evolved over the years and continues to evolve. And so if you are a photographer or if you're in the arts, you need to know and understand that it is quite possible that someone can take their $1,000 iPhone X and get quality pictures just like you can with your Nikon or Canon camera. What does that mean? If you know your competition, but you also know your avatar, and you also know what you offer, you create this unique space in the market for yourself, okay? So knowing the competition. And then location. Describe the location, particularly in reference to the target market. Why did you pick that particular location, and what renovation or construction might be required? I just want to say this real quick. This is my personal aside. It's my little soapbox. Please don't be afraid to operate a home-based business. Please don't be afraid to start at home, depending on what type of business you have. Now, let me make sure that that's clear. Oftentimes, people want to run out and buy or rent a brick and mortar, and they don't have any demonstrated success in even operating that business. So before you go out and run to get a lease for 24 months at $1,000 a month on a building that you may not be able to afford, and you're only bringing in $200 a month in revenue, don't do it. Build your business. And so when it comes to location, if you decide to identify a location, make sure you've done the market research to see if the location even wants you. I have an example from another client. Thank God none of them are in the room, because it was like, are you talking about me? But anyway, here's another client that wants to have a particular business. You know what? Let me do it this way. I got the perfect example. I lived in the city of Chicago for a little bit, and it was in a community that needed a grocery store. And this community once had a grocery store, but it was like a local Treasure Island. And the Treasure Island closed, and the residents wanted either a Mariano's or, I don't think Jewel was in the running at that time, but they wanted something that reflected that particular income bracket. They got to save a lot. They weren't happy. The Save a Lot closed. So just because you want to put something in a particular area does not mean the area wants it there. So please make sure you do your research to see if the location is feasible for your business. Marketing strategy, I'm going to share that, and then I'll go into financial plan, and then I'll transition. So marketing strategy, when you talk about a marketing strategy, how did you determine the pricing for your products or services? I know your patty pies or your pies tastes better than patty, but do people really want to pay $45 for it? Probably not. Please know and understand and do your research to determine your pricing for your product or service. What specific advertising, promotional, networking, and sale techniques that you use or will use? Think about that. Think about when you might have a slump. So let's say you have a product, and let's look at a calendar year from January to December. And this particular product, let's say it caters to married couples. Well, you know, probably in February for Valentine's Day and possibly in October for Sweetest Day, you may have a rise in sales. You may know that during the summer, people like to be booed up, so maybe your sales will get high then. But then you have to look over the entire year. If I can't get a sale in January, or maybe January, because what am I? I'm a September baby. So December is really good also in the winter when you're snowed in for couples, right? And so think about the calendar and think about what is my marketing strategy to avoid some of these lulls in my business. It really helps if you are in business for at least a year, because you get a chance to see from January to December how things move, and you can make some planning for the subsequent years. But the only way to do that is to be really intentional about looking at your strategy. How can I make sure that I maintain sales? Another pop quiz real quick before I go into financial planning. If you had to think about it, out of January, from January to December, what do you think is a high time for accountants? April. What else? Before April? Anybody? December, June? Anybody else want to try it? February. I heard an accountant tell me that from the end of February through April, very high time for her. So we started to look at, well, what happens in January and the beginning of February, and what happens in May through the end of December? She didn't know, because she knew that tax preparation was a high time. So what do we need to do for that client? We need to look at a marketing strategy so that people know and understand that her services are good even beyond February through April. Maybe she needs to do some small business accounting the other times of the year, but she would need to have a marketing strategy in order to generate that business. That's planning. That's planning. So real quick regarding financial plans, this is a part of your business plan and or business planning that you really need to focus on. And I spoke about it throughout my presentation, but the financial planning really gives you that perfect window of what's going on with your business. How does cash move through your business? I had one client who received an inheritance from a family member, and out of that, I'm going to fabricate the number, but out of that $50,000 inheritance, $45,000 was spent on the business coach. With her profit and loss statement and her income statement, do you think that looks favorable or unfavorable when it comes to how she can manage money? How many say unfavorable? Let me see your hands. How many say favorable? Well, unfavorable has it. It doesn't look really good if you have these exorbitant costs in one line item throughout a budget. You need to be able to show that you can manage money throughout your entire business. So again, looking at the financial plan, knowing your profit and loss statement, knowing your startup costs if you're not in business or if you're looking to relaunch your business or rebrand your business or expand your business, do a projected budget. See how much it will cost to do that. How much will you need in order to make that happen? So that's what the business planning. From the board, you see the 7 steps to writing the business plan. You see that you need one because it's important to get an idea of where your business is going and how much it will cost for you to get there. Any questions on business plan and business planning? Well, we're going to shift really quickly because I think I'm also doing this, Gloria. I'm also doing the business entity. Yep. So really quickly, regarding the business entities, some of you all might be, is everyone incorporated who is in business? If you're not, you can blink. You know, I don't want to put you out there. Okay. All right, great. Got a couple of winks and stuff. Wonderful. If you are not incorporated, here are a few things that you need to know. A business entity is an organization created at the state level by one or more persons to carry on a business. The business entities are subject to taxation and must file a tax return. You all have heard of corporations, partnerships, limited liability companies, limited liability partnerships, and sole proprietorship. I'm going to go through very quickly and briefly the benefits to each one. Now, here is my disclaimer. I am not a CPA. I'm not a tax accountant. I can't tell you or advise you what is the best status or structure for your business, nor am I an attorney. So the information I'm giving you is just that, is information. You have to make your own decision about the type of structure you want to have for your business. So when we look at business entities, you have the corporation. And what is unique about the corporation is that it's a separate entity from its owner. So I can be I can be Brown Engineering as a corporation. That's different from Tasha Brown. Brown Engineering is its own institution. It's its own being entity. Tasha Brown is separate. So separate entities from their owners created by incorporating procedures. 2 types of corporations, which is stock and non-stock. It's owned by its shareholders, it's run by its board, and it's subject to double taxation, which simply means this. The corporation is taxed, and the shareholders are taxed. That's double taxation. After the corporations, you have the partnerships. Partnerships reflect a co-ownership of a business. There are multiple owners who have the same investment or who have invested. Pass-through business means that the profits and losses pass through to the owner. So if you all are in the black, which is great, then you can share in those revenues and those profits. If you are in the red, then that loss is also passed on to you and it's reflected on your tax return. You definitely have to be registered with the state. You are encouraged to have a partnership agreement because there are times when one partner can invest more financially than the other can. And so in your partnership agreement, will you accept sweat equity as part of the investment into the business? You have to decide that. Taxes are paid individually based on the shares of the profit for the year. After the limited liability partnership, you have the limited liability company. And that combines the benefits of a sole proprietor with an LLC. Its owners are called members. It's not a corporation. There are two types of LLCs, domestic and foreign. Taxes are paid, income, sales, and property. Owners pay taxes on the profits of the business. They pay income taxes based on the number of members. After the limited liability company, you have the limited liability partnership. I think I misspoke just a second ago, but you have the limited liability partnerships. All partners are shielded from wrongful acts of negligence on the part of other partners, malpractice. The limited liability partnerships are formed in the state of where the business was formed, and most states allow all professionals to form LLPs. A few states limit the ability to form an LLP to accountants and attorneys. But I believe, well, I'm not going to say, I think for the state we can move beyond accountants and attorneys, but please make sure you look that up or ask your accountant. For sole proprietorship, it's operated by one individual. Profits and losses are included on the individual's personal tax return, and the owner has personal liability for business debts and lawsuits. I repeat, profits and losses are included on the individual's personal tax return, and the owner has personal liability for business debts and lawsuits. Someone can come after you for some type of wrongdoing. Your assets and you are not protected through sole proprietorship. You can basically just get a business bank account and start taking money from customers if you want to start a sole proprietorship. In sum, most LLCs, sole proprietorships, and basic business structures can be formed online in the state of origination. There is an expedited fee with the state of Illinois. If you wanted to form that online, and they review your application within a 48-hour period, they submit to you your articles of organization within that time frame. You have them electronically, but it is an additional cost. If you did not file them online, then you're able to complete the forms, send it in, pay your fee, and then wait to receive notification from the state. Most detailed business formation may require conversation with an attorney. Business entities can be changed at any time as the company grows. Contact the state of origination. There are several websites which are listed there. And structuring in Illinois, I want to encourage you to go to illinois.gov. You see, I think we will pass this out and share this link with you. Also, please feel free to look at cyberdriveillinois.com for more information, cyberdriveillinois.com. Are there any questions? I know I moved through that pretty swiftly regarding the business plan / business planning and also the business entities. I think we do have time for question and answer at the end of the program, but I wanted to see if you had anything burning on your heart that you wanted to share right now. Anyone? Okay. So we're going to pass out the papers for the quiz right now. Does everyone have a number 2 pencil? Okay. I just wanted to see if you were with me. Okay. All right. Good deal. Well, if you don't have any questions, I believe I'm going to turn this over to Ms. Irma. Is that you? Are you next, Ms. Irma? Yay. So I'm going to turn it over to Irma. And Ms. Sharon Polk told me to look for you, so I'm glad that I was able to see you. And here you are. Oh, you or Irma? You?
Give Tasha Brown another round of applause. That was some great information. We really appreciate that. Before we continue, I want to at least acknowledge 2 people, Phyllis Shelton and Lolita McKinney. I just want to give you all the opportunity just to say a few words, if you don't mind.
Hello. Greetings from SBA, Lolita McKinney. We came all the way from Chicago just to be here with you all today, so thank you. Thank you for having us.
and low again. Okay. Yeah, thank you. So now we're going to get Irma on deck now. She's going to queue up. But any additional questions that you all may have, I want you all to always feel free to reach out to us, and Gloria, whoever, because we want to make sure that we're being very responsive to inquiries as well, because a lot of people over the years, or over the last several months rather, have indicated that sometimes they don't get the feedback from agencies that they would like, but we want to make sure that we're connecting people to resources and other information. But without further ado, I want to bring Irma on deck. Give her a round of applause because she has some great information.
Bring this down to my level here. Thank you, Derek.
You can take the mic.
I'm better off just staying right here because I'll be all over the place. My name is Irma Lopez, and I work for the State of Illinois Central Management Services Business Enterprise Program. Oh, and here's a clicker. So our program works to certify women, minorities, persons with disabilities under the Business Enterprise Program, and we also oversee the certification process for veteran businesses. In that program, we certify veterans and service-disabled veterans. So our program has some pretty simple requirements. Number one, you must be at least 51% owner of the company. And with that, you're also expected to have full control and knowledge of day-to-day operations, the management, investments, financials, and all that you're going to be submitted in the application process. You must also be a legal resident or U.S. citizen of the United States. And you must not have made over $75 million in the year. So if anyone here is there, I'm sorry, you are not eligible for this program. So when Tasha was up presenting, I saw that the majority of you have businesses. Is anyone here certified with any entity? Yes? With who? Great, thank you. So the purpose of the program and the reason it was put in place many years ago in the 80s, they conducted a disparity study, and it was found that there were some discriminatory practices in the way that the state of Illinois contracted and purchased items. So in order to eliminate some of these bad practices, the program was put in place. So the BEP program has a 20% aspirational goal. And what that means is any contract over $100,000 must be considered to have a goal placed on it. So if that goal is 10% for a $100,000 contract, that means a minimum of $10,000 must be fulfilled by our BEP vendors. So you must know that the state of Illinois purchases a lot of items over $100,000, and this is the way to have these smaller businesses have an opportunity for growth and participation in the procurement process, and not have the larger companies absorb the entire contracting opportunities. It's very important to know we are the only free of charge certifying entity outside of the federal government. Everyone else that we're aware of charges a fee to get certified with them. This is one of my favorite slides. The state of Illinois purchased over $38 billion in goods and services in fiscal year 2017. Of that, we had aspired to spend at least $617 million on our vendors, so our BEP certified vendors. However, because of a lack of participation, lack of vendors in the system, we still sent back $180 million to our prime vendors. So that means your Walsh, your Deloitte, your Google, your larger companies got these monies. I'm sure $180 million isn't much to them, but to our smaller businesses, this is a big opportunity to be missing out on. Our agency identified 6 pillar industries, and as you can see, during the fiscal years of 2013 through 2018, we had a lot of spend in those industries. Health is one of the one that's quickly rising and becoming the most spent on, because every other industry listed beneath it is going to interact and touch the health industry in one way or another. So in the health industry, we spent $35 billion in those the span of those 4 years. So you must understand, with the health industry, we're going to need to have professional services, construction, IT, equipment and commodities, and food. So any of those industries, if you're just construction, don't think you're just building somewhere. You're going to have opportunities in the health industry. You might have somebody building a clinic or another hospital or a wing. You got the universities that are quickly adding large-scale projects, and you may not come in and build an entire university, but you might come in and build some part of that contract. You may be a drywaller. You might come in and provide security. You might provide paper, cleaning supplies. There's so many ways for you to participate on a contract. So those are all opportunities you want to be aware of and look into, and I'll show you how to do that now. So our program is comprised of 3 divisions. Number 1 is certification. Your application is entirely submitted electronically. It comes through our certification manager that then assigns it to an analyst. This analyst is going to look at everything that you submitted to support the fact that you are indeed 51% donor. If you are submitting as a minority person, they're making sure that your ethnicity is confirmed through either a birth certificate or passport, your financials, all of that is going to be reviewed by an analyst. In the event that something that you've submitted your application and the analyst is not clear on something, maybe the scan didn't come out clearly, they will begin a communication with you via email. So the entire process is electronic, so make sure that when you're submitting and entering your information in the certification process, that your email address is correct and your phone number, everything. But first and foremost, we're going to communicate with you via email. Second is compliance. Compliance is the enforcer of our agency, so they're making sure that the agencies are doing their good faith effort and placing the appropriate goals on contracts, and they're also looking into making sure that the larger companies are doing their good faith effort and going through our database of certified vendors and ensuring that they're making sure that they are including you all, and not just saying, you know what, we reached out to them and nobody wants to participate. Compliance will make sure that indeed they have tried to reach out to you and will take proper steps in the event that a good faith effort was not put forth. And then there's outreach. It's myself, and we just recently brought on a new member to the outreach team, and our job is to come out and educate and inform as many people as possible about the benefits and advantages of being certified. So we have a business enterprise program that has a lot of it oversees a lot of the aspects of the program. It has a lot of say in the policy making, rules and regulations. One of their most important tasks is in the event you get denied, there is an appeal process. It begins with the internal management of BEP up into the BEP Council, where you bring it before the entire council during a closed session, and you discuss and you advocate for your company to be approved for certification. It's basically, I believe right now we have 19 members, and those are comprised of members of the community as well as designees assigned by different agencies. But we have members of the different chambers of commerce and other, the WBDC, the Chicago Minority Supplier Development Council. These are great meetings to show up at in the event that you feel that something is not going well, you feel that a contract excluded you unfairly. This is the best place for you to come and bring your issues, as you have the decision makers all in one room. The Illinois Procurement Gateway, or it's also known as the IPG, is a mandatory registration for businesses wanting to sell to the state of Illinois. This is not mandatory if you're just a business in the state. However, you want to sell and contract with the state, you must register with them. It's also a way for them to determine if there is an existing conflict of interest in you doing business with the state. And another advantage is you're in a database where members of the public, other corporations and businesses could search you in the event they need partners. The state of Illinois has 5 procurement bulletin boards. The largest one being the Procurement Bulletin. We have over 60 agencies posting upcoming opportunities. In all of these procurement bulletin boards, you're going to register your business along with your commodity codes for the goods and services you provide. Anytime a contract comes up with any of those commodity codes that you provided, you will get an email notification and the opportunity to bid. And if you're not ready to bid, I always encourage our vendors to go in and see what the process is. So when you are ready to bid, you're ready to see who your primes are and who you might possibly come in and subcontract. And you could also see smaller vendors, because they are not always your competition. They could be possible partners for you to come in and work together to help this larger company satisfy their goal on a contract. So that's the first one being the largest one. Then the second one is your Department of Transportation. Third one is Capital Development Board, which posts for construction of buildings and upward structures. Then you have the Higher Education Procurement Bulletin. This is another very important one, as they are constantly putting on large projects, and they're pretty aggressive in trying to find BEP vendors. A lot of these agencies are under the gun to have you participate because of the creation of the African American Fair Contracting Task Force. Some additional focus was put on our agency, because there is some disparity in the program that was put here to eliminate disparity. So we found that there's not a great, the amount of opportunities are not representative of the amount of African American vendors that we have in the database. So other groups are taking advantage of these opportunities, and the African American community is being left behind. So now these efforts are being made to bring more awareness and more participation of vendors into the system, particularly African Americans. So the higher education procurement program is really looking to bring in more vendors, because they need you for them to remain compliant and not get in trouble with the likes of the councils and the task force and the governor's office. They're all working to meet these goals. And then last but not least is the Illinois Tollway, which is the golden agency. Did you have a question? Yes, yes. They're all your universities and your community colleges that are funded and overseen by the state of Illinois. And then the Tollway is also probably has the largest big-scale projects. Basically, the two main industries that they purchase in is construction and professional services. And the reason I call it the golden agency is they pay very quickly. Both the Illinois Tollway and the Illinois Higher Procurement bulletins attempt to pay our vendors much quicker, as they do not rely on our state budget. They have their own source of revenue and process their payments much quicker than most of the state. Yes.
So regarding the Illinois Public Higher Education Procurement Bulletin, I see in bold, you don't have to be BEP certified. So how would they know if African American is bidding on that?
Okay, great question. So I encourage everybody to go in and register now, because the benefit of that is, in the event that you do find an opportunity that's perfect for you, you're a drywaller and there's a contract that includes drywalling in the contract, you will try to submit your application as quickly and accurately as possible, and we will work to expedite that application. So that's why I'm saying, don't wait to get certified. Go in there and try to find opportunities. The benefit of being certified is anyone in the country can bid on these opportunities. Your benefit as a certified vendor identifies you as whatever category you elected: minority, woman, veteran. You are going to be competing specifically for that piece of the contract that was set us. It's not a set aside. It's a goal where they've made it specific to our BEP vendors to participate. So no one else can take part in that goal and that piece, that fraction, that percentage that was set aside for that contract. Does that make sense? So please keep that in mind. If you go home and you find an opportunity, please work with your chamber, with Tasha's organization, the SBDCs, which I will speak a little bit about coming up. And then Lolita will also, I believe, will touch on the SBDCs. I don't know if that's part of the panel. But these are great resources for you to tap into, because we don't expect you to do all this alone. It's a lot being thrown at you, but we have resources out there to help you out. So this is, I'm taking you into the largest, which is the first one, the Illinois Procurement Bulletin Board. This is what it looks like when you go to the website. And for whatever reason, this is the shortest amount of contracts I've seen in a long time. It usually goes on for pages. So this is what I've seen, but I believe it's part of an effort for them to go into a bigger procurement process called bid buy. But right now it's confusing to myself because they haven't fully implemented yet, but it's slowly making its way into being the procurement page. So this is what it looks like now. So you could click on any of those and you could see what the commodity codes are, a brief description of what the contract is for, when it's due, who contact information is all added. So I made a search of data. And this is what I also encourage our vendors to do. Do a historical search of what you sell. So I put in data, and there was about 17 pages. So I tried to identify one that had a lot of information. This is a contract that already took place. You see at the bottom, the arrow says, does this have a BEP requirement? And it says yes. So that tells you it has a goal for you as a BEP vendor. So the contract went to Levi, Ray, and Shoup, which was the prime that won the contract. However, they had to give 15% of that contract to a BEP vendor. So it was a 2-year contract for $438,000 a year. So 15% of that amount had to go to a BEP vendor working as a subcontractor for that company. And at the bottom, you see the NIGP codes. It's 918. This contract was for consulting and computer software consulting. There's bid buy. At some point, if you're registered with any of the bulletins and this starts to take over, you will get a notification. So we want to register with the procurement bulletin boards, and then we want to go and start the application process. So this is what that page looks like. And you want to select any of those two, full BEP or recognition. And this is what the portal looks like. Once you become certified and you've been approved, you're going to be included in the BEP and or VBP certification. BEP is your business enterprise program, and VBP is your veteran business program. Only if you're certified will you be added there. And another advantage to being in that directory is I often get calls from corporate and private businesses in their good faith effort to include minority women veteran vendors. So I'll get a call for plumbers. They want plumbers in DeKalb, or they want plumbers that are female, or whatever the industry or need that they have. I could select these vendors and send them their information for these vendors. What is it? So, and this is where they're going to come and look for you to subcontract. So, the prime is under pressure to find a subcontractor to come to the table and present their bid. They will come and already say, we've committed and we have a letter of intent with company ABC, and we're willing to work together on this project. Most agencies or certifying entities use NAICS codes. However, we use NIGP. These codes will be available to you both in the procurement bulletin boards, the gateway, and the certification process. You'll be able to put in a simple word description of what you do, and you'll get the codes that are applied to them. So there's two main ways to get certified. Number one is a full certification. And I brought all these handouts. They're in the back table where I was sitting. The full certification requires a pretty extensive list of documentation. And again, this is to ensure we maintain the integrity of the program and that we do determine that you are indeed the rightful owner and that you are in control of the company. And the other one is recognition. In the event that you are certified with any of the following entities that I'll bring up now, it's a much shorter, streamlined process. We recognize that you've been vetted by that company or that entity, and it's 3 or 4 requirements. There are 2 main differences that I've come across. There is no difference in terms of the benefits as a vendor, as a recognition or a full. However, more and more businesses are finding opportunities in neighboring states. So Indiana, Michigan, Wisconsin, and the like are also looking to have minority women-owned businesses participate on their contracts. So if you find an opportunity with Indiana, they will ask you to get certified in Indiana. They will also ask for a site visit conducted by your state certifying agency. We can only conduct that site visit if we have your full certification. Under recognition, you would have to come in and complete a full application. The other benefit to being fully certified with us is as you continue to grow and collect and expand your abilities to do additional things, We cannot expand that if you come to us under recognition. The entity that, the home agency that certified you must expand your certification, and then we reflect it. Whereas if we have your application, you come to us and we're able to add those additional commodity codes in your certification. These are the entities that we currently recognize. Is anyone here certified with any of them? No? Okay. So the thing also is that, you know, we recognize them, but they don't recognize us, and we only think that it's because they charge and we don't. So although you see the City of Chicago will not accept the State of Illinois certification, many of its sister agencies, CPS, Chicago Housing Authority, McCormick Place, they all accept the State of Illinois certification. And you'll see Boyd Gaming at the bottom. All casinos in the State of Illinois have mandates for goal setting on their contracts. The Veteran Business Program, like I said, the BEP program has a 20% aspirational program. The Veteran program only has 3%. And the best way to justify that is we have a very low amount of veteran vendors. Anyone here a veteran? Thank you. So we're trying to increase those numbers. It's hard to increase the goals on contracts when we only have 158 out of 1,900 vendors are veterans. So if we increase these numbers, we'd be able to demand a larger goal on contracts. We currently only recognize 2 certifications, either the federal CVE or the Cook County certification. And the other thing that I need to mention about the veterans is we do have a residency requirement for veterans where we don't for the BEP. You must be based in the state of Illinois as a business and reside in the state of Illinois, and you must have a DD 214 with honorable discharge for veterans. The Small Business Set-Aside Program is available to all businesses regardless of race or gender. They offer contracts under $100,000. They're set aside for these purposes. They cover over 673 commodity codes. So the great thing about this is you're not competing with every small business in the state. It's only those businesses registered here that qualify and are within these revenue caps that are listed here. And these handouts are also at the back of this. So you could go in there, register. Again, these are free of charge registrations. We haven't heard too many complaints lately about the vendors being paid, but it was something that was very commonly brought up. But there is a program in place where if you have gone over 90 days without payment, you apply, because not every single purchase order is going to be eligible for this program. So you apply, and a financial institute that has an agreement with the state will pay you 90% upfront of the debt that the state of Illinois owes you. They will then wait for the full payment and then pay you the remaining 10% and keep the interest. So they're making out on the interest, but at the same time, 90% of a large purchase order can make or break a company. So it's a way to keep you alive till you get paid by the bank. SBDCs are your Small Business Development Center. We have Tasha here, and I would highly encourage you to create a relationship with your local SBDC, your Chamber of Commerce. They're very crucial in helping you with anything and everything business related, from the startup and development of your business, and then later when you're coming to your PTACs or Procurement Technical Assistance Centers. They help you navigate the procurement process. All of these are free of charge. The SBA is here and is represented by Lolita and Phyllis. I'm going to tattoo that on my head because I have the memory of a gnat. So they will be here to answer any questions about those programs. Again, they're free of charge and they're available to everyone in the state of Illinois. And that's it. Does anyone have any questions, or if you want to stick around, I'll be here through the end of the event. I'd be happy to answer questions, and I have all these handouts at the back, so feel free to come by and grab one. Thank you, everyone. Thanks for being here.
Hey, I want to take this time as well to acknowledge Tamara Bell from the BEP analyst. Yes, I see you back there. Wave. She worked closely with Irma. I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to be real quick. How many of you out there know that the state of Illinois has a participation loan program? Nobody? Okay. Well, here's the good news. The state of Illinois has a participation loan program called Advantage Illinois. The program manager is Maria Colangelo. She comes with about 25 years worth of lending experience. I'm really, truly excited to have her on our team. But this particular loan program is geared for minorities. And the one thing that I like about the program is that we have close to $80 million that's in this program, but we're not a bank. So we're subordinate to the bank, so we need banking partners. And this is a regional program, so national banks don't fit into this program. So we have about, I want to say under our new agreement, we have about 35 lenders that are financial institutions that are a part of this program. Our number one user of the program is probably Wintrust. It's probably our number one user. But we have participating institutions up and down the state. There is a piece in this particular program called FAME. FAME is funds for advancing minority enterprises. Because of that piece of legislation that was added to this loan program, you can get a 2% fixed interest rate for 7 years. That's a big deal, all right? So but just keep in mind that we're not a bank, so we need a banking partner, so we're subordinate to the bank. But I want everybody to know that it's a great program, and we are really excited that we've been processing some great deals. Maria is actually back in Chicago processing deals and loans, so that's why she wasn't here. But I want to give you her number because it's not on the sheet. But I want to give you her email address and her phone number if you have any additional questions, because she is the point person for this program. First name is Maria, and that's M-A-R-I-A, Colangelo, which is C-O-L-A-N-G-E-L-O, Maria Colangelo, C-O-L-A-N-G-E-L-O. So she is the program manager for Advantage Illinois. Her direct line at work is going to be 312-814-1595. I'm going to repeat it again, 312-814-1595. And her email address is her first name, Maria.Colangelo, C-O-L-A-N-G-E-L-O, at Illinois, all spelled out, .gov, G-O-V, Maria.Colangelo at Illinois.gov. So that's my spiel. Right now, I'm going to bring up Gloria. She's just going to introduce the panel. I know Tasha's going to moderate. So let's give her another round of applause for the food and everything else. Thank you.
All right. I hope you have gotten great information so far, but of course there's more to come. So this is the question and answer part. Tasha's going to come up and moderate for us, but I want to introduce those that are going to be on the panel. We're going to start with ladies first. So we're going to have Maureen McKenna, and she's with the Community Reinvestment Fund. Come on up, Maureen. We have Isaiah Spears, and what's the name of the company? Exeon. Okay. Lolitha McKinney with SBA. Mike O'Brien with Homestar Bank. Last but certainly not least, Matt Oshesky with People's Bank. Now we'll have Tasha come on up, and we'll get the question and answer started. Yes.
And I think we'll turn off the projector or access it. Okay. When you hear the term access to capital, what comes to mind? Anybody from the audience? Money. Money. So we are really grateful to have this panel of individuals who can help you access capital. So I just want to start with a really quick question. Earlier, if you were here, you heard me talk about a business plan and business planning. And so from the panel, anyone can answer this question. Do you require a business plan? And if so, what are you looking for in the plan?
I'll start. I'm Matt Olszewski with People's Bank, and I do commercial lending. Generally speaking, we deal more with established businesses that have been around for a while. You're really not going to request a business plan in those cases. A new business under 2 years, has not been established, has not proven itself. You need to know what the plan is, who are the individuals involved, and more importantly, what are the projections for that business? What's your revenue expectations? How did you arrive at those expectations? So what were your assumptions in deriving those? And then what are your anticipated expenses? And then, of course, most importantly, are you making a profit? So business plan, definitely a important component in your total application for a new business loan.
Okay. We continue. Okay. Hello, my name is Isaiah Spears. I'm with Axion. We technically do not require a business plan for the application process. However, one of the things that we do is we try to implement our business coaching department post-loan in order to help businesses grow in that facet, in order to make sure that they have those necessary components before going to a bank. Just because of the fact that, as it was stated before, you want to know who your target market is, who you're planning to really hone in on, as well as what your competition is, and being able to understand where you are and where you want to be.
Thank you. My name is Michael Bryan from Homestar Bank here in Kankakee. I'm our chief operating officer, not a lender, but I know enough to be dangerous. So that's a tough place to be. I second what Matt said in terms of when a business plan is generally required. In addition to that, and I'm sure they do this as well, we encourage people to think about what happens if things don't go as planned. What's the exit strategy? What's the game plan for getting out of the business after you've got into it? And people sometimes have that ahead of time and sometimes don't, and oftentimes appreciate the heads up that may be something to think about.
Good evening. My name is Maureen McKenna. I'm from Community Reinvestment Fund. We are a national CDFI. That's a community development financial institution. And as such, we really are a non-bank lender. And we are looking to fund those businesses that are underbanked, those that are not able to get a traditional bank loan. So with our loan,